bothered anymore. You've probably seen this type of video a million times already. You probably name all the procrastination strategies off by heart by now. And it's just for me though, like I watched all these videos, they're comforting in a way, but it never really works for me. Matter of fact, I even made a video on procrastination, thinking I beat procrastination. I gave you guys a bunch of different strategies that I used, and to this day, I don't even remember the strategies I told you. I honestly think like they work to a certain level and then you just procrastinate. Procrastinating is like unavoidable. Sometimes my head itches to play games, go on social media and thinks about everything except the work I really need to do. And every time I think about the work I need to do, I get stressed and then I just keep playing games. And the worst part is sometimes I sleep at night and I become a bit depressed and sad that I could have done so much that day. I could have been the best Addison, but I was the worst. So I made this video for people like us, the people who really need this type of video, something that will get us out of bed, a new kind of approach to all this procrastination strategies that is in this space, something that will actually change us for once. So before I begin, I want to tell you a little dirty secret, something I shouldn't really say as any respective YouTuber, but before I made this video, I had no idea how to not procrastinate. And I could not find anything on the internet that would really help me. I've tried every strategy to this planet and I'd still procrastinate. There's just something in the way, something like that's stopping me from becoming the non-procrastinating Addison that I wanted to be. And you know what's surprising? 48 Laws of Power and Sun Tzu's Art of War pushed me in the right direction. Interesting, right? The 48 Laws of Power in the Law 29, it states that we should plan all the way to the end. And in Art of War, very famous quote, it states that if you know yourself and the enemy, you must not fear the result of 100 battles. So then I took this and thought, how can I make this as a weapon of destroying my procrastination? So then I did more research to find out what was really causing us, what was the enemy. And then it would be kind of funny for me to tell you like, oh guys, procrastination is because of phones. Not really. I mean, if we took away your phones, really, if I told you to put your phone away, you'd probably just find other ways to procrastinate. I know, sleep, nap, TV, play games like console games, board games, talk to your family, hang out with your friends. You could do anything just to avoid work. So who really is the enemy? So I want you to imagine this in a chess game. And every time we move, our opponent does the best move on the board. And then we move again. And then the opponent does the best move on the board. It's almost like the opponent can read us and knows exactly all our moves. That's the point of this game anymore if the opponent can read all our moves. It's like a real life scenario, and every motivation strategy we try, we procrastinate again. It's like every time we do one good study session, we lose again. We procrastinate and we end up not studying for the rest of like the month. It's like no matter what we do, what moves we make, nothing works. It's like our inevitable fate is to fail. So who is this smart opponent we are up against? Who is that black chess piece that we are up against? Who is pushing us back? Who is that inevitable fate? That's right. It's our comfort zone. The reason why I couldn't progress was because my comfort zone is exactly what makes me happy and knows exactly what will keep us lazy. So that's why every time I make a move on this chessboard, every Notion template I make, every to-do list schedule, every study strategy that I try, nothing works. It's like our comfort zone likes to throw us back at the beginning. Then that's when I realized that my mindset was wrong. I always kept thinking every time I try something, I get pushed back at the beginning. Every time I go to the gym, nothing's working, so I'm back at the beginning. But not really. We are just in a constant battle with our comfort zones, and our comfort zones is winning by taking over our mindset and our minds. Now, do you remember the kind of cringy quotes I was reading? Law 29 from 48 Laws of Power, plan all the way to the end. So as of right now, write down on a piece of paper or a Notion template, I don't really mind, whether it's a Google document, I don't really care. Anywhere, write down all the task, work that you're planning to do. For me, I write down my YouTube videos, my studying, just to be prepared for what's to come in my life. I'm gonna plan out every single thing and follow this law religiously. So once I've written down the main categories that I want to do, like studying, school, I don't know, work, underneath each one, I'm gonna set a weekly goal. And once you've done that weekly goal, under each weekly goal, you should write down daily tasks. So like break those weekly goals down. Okay, break those down to the exact instructions and steps. You can't have a recipe without the instructions and ingredients, right? So you need to be very detailed to the way you're planning these things out. And once you've done all that, what you need to do, you must do, is that your first week must be easy. You need to make it harder as you go. First week, maybe go to gym once. Second week, go to gym twice. Third week, go to gym 3 times. And you might be wondering, oh, so if my weekly goal is to study for an hour, so I don't have to study more than that? If you want to and you can, then of course try to. But basically set your standards just to that 1 hour of studying that week, and then go more and more and more each week. You can go above your standard if you want. You can be a really excellent person, but if you want an hour study a week, that's chill. Right? You've completed your goal and you've already making moves. Before, you were just working on bursts of energy, weren't we? We just studied when we feel like it or when we felt stressed. Nowadays, we are actually preparing, we're planning this out. You can't go into war when you feel like it. You gotta do it and plan everything out. Like again, we need to play slowly and wisely. But you know who's wise though? Sun Tzu, and in his book Art of War, he states that, of course, if you know yourself and the enemy, you must not fear the result of 100 battles. So what we need to do now is we need to understand our enemy, our comfort zone. So under each daily task, each instruction you got, and each weekly goal, you need to write down exactly how it can fail. And then under each of those problems, or like reasons why you'd fail, is a solution for each one. You need to plan out all the possible opponent's moves. Like in a chessboard, you plan out all the moves and you need to counteract it with a possible solution. Procrastination really is just lack of planning and lack of awareness. Most people procrastinate because they don't really know what to do and they're not really aware of the possible things that could happen to them. Imagine going into war, a random ass war. You don't know the enemy, you don't know who you're fighting against, you don't have any weapons, you have nothing. Even me in that war, I would just sit there and just honestly be on my phone on TikTok or something because I'm gonna procrastinate that. I don't really know what to do. I might as well be dead weight for the entire army. And that is really what I really wanted to tell you guys today. Something very different, something really refreshing, and something really changed me. To this day, yes, sometimes I use my phone, but at the same time, I just stopped like 5 minutes later because I already knew this was gonna happen. It's gonna be much more easier since now you're aware, and you should always be coming back to this life plan and looking all the weekly goals and daily tasks and making sure you're doing them. Of course, if you're not doing them, well, you already have a solution for that, don't you? And I honestly think you'll be able to do this. Procrastination is over now, guys. Good luck and goodbye.